I thought I might introduce you to Zed, who is a dog belonging to a colleague of mine, and we're looking after Zed for the weekend. There's Zed. Zed's about a year and a half, maybe 2 years old, and he's very energetic, he's very friendly. He smells a bit sometimes, but that's because he went for a dip in the settling ponds, which wasn't ideal. We've taken him for lots of walks. He's got a couple of bones which he's been enjoying munching on. We don't want to let him off the leash. Oh, here he is, drinking from the stagnant bird bath, which he seems to enjoy more than his fresh drinking water. We don't want to risk him running off into the bush. That would not be good. He woke us up several times during the night, barking after he got his lead tangled up. We did originally plan for him to sleep in the house, but he didn't seem to like that. He seems to prefer to sleep outside, so that's where he's sleeping.
What are you up to now, Will?
Huh?
What are you up to now, Will?
Oh, I am currently putting the wire strainer on the wires.
So it comes in two parts. This little part with the chain on, and this part which has a crank handle. And basically they've got two mouths which eat the fence wire, and then a bit in the middle which eats the chain, it like chomps along the chain, and that's what pulls the two bits of wire together.
Now, can you just pull this tight, please? Thank you.
We're using a Hayes 108 for this, by the way. And then these teeth here, you see, climbing up the chain. You don't need to do it so that you can't sort of pull it any tighter. In fact, you can damage the wire if you stretch it too taut. You irrevocably damage it. So I'd say that's probably about as far as Will needs to go.
That's probably about right.
Then all Will needs to do is make a knot like he has already done on this trial one down here. And then that's the two pieces of wire joined together. This is the best way of tensioning the fence. What I had done originally is just run the wire around the gate post and tie it off. But in order to put proper tension on it, what you have to do is essentially tie one end to the post, break the fence, and then join it back together again. So that's what we're doing now.
This is a bit tricky because this strainer post is sort of in the way. But I'm just tying the wires together now.
I just wanted to quickly show you the fence now that it's been willed rather than coloured. I think you can see that he's managed to do a much better job. As I mentioned, what we had to do was harvest some spare wire to go around the gate post, which Will's tied off with this special knot. And then we used that wire strainer to tie the fence wire to the spare wire using this special knot. And the net result is a much tauter fence than I was able to get. Not that it needs to be particularly taut. So the next stage in this particular project will be to put the strainer post, which is this thing, on this gate post and then tighten the wires up. We won't probably need to do what we did with that larger post, because that's going to bear the weight of the gate, and there's a much shorter span here which might make that difficult anyway. So I think this section of fence is already pretty good. That one was rubbish. So we probably can just tie that off quite straightforwardly, and then we can hang the gate. I almost said goat. We can hang the gate. We do have, I think, the fixtures we need to be able to do that, but I should think that'll be the last thing we do. This post is now in much more securely now that I concreted it in. So it's all coming along quite nicely, and then we'll also chainsaw that so that these are more of an equal height. Anyway, I'm off now to go and do some work on the lawns.
I'm sending our temporary pet home later this afternoon. What we didn't film was being woken up about 5 times in the middle of the night by barking. We're realising how high maintenance dogs are. He runs around a lot and he's very excitable. But oh yes, that's another thing we didn't film, was he was here, and the leash, which is currently tied quite close to the post, was a lot longer, so he could come to about here. And just in that gutter there was a brown snake, which he noticed before we did, and he was very keen to get at it. Apparently he has killed snakes before, but this was an eastern brown snake, which are pretty deadly, and the snake went along the gutter and up into the bushes, where for all we know it still is. It may be in there somewhere. So this is probably not the ideal footwear to be wearing, but I'm not planning on going into the bushes. But he was very keen to get hold of the snake, and we rapidly shortened the leash, and fortunately we're sending him back home very soon. He is very friendly, and it's been nice to have a dog, but we definitely don't plan to get one anytime soon. And having these filthy old bones isn't particularly nice either. They do seem to be attracting a few flies. But he seems to like them. Do you want to say hello?
I'm in town this morning. I'm getting in touch with you to say that this is the second time in a row that I've done the grocery shopping. I've had a bit of a run-in with the petty bureaucrats that work at the Woolworths click and collect days. I don't know if you have things like this in the UK, but basically it's like a sort of drive-in supermarket. You do your order online and then you sort of drive in and they bring it out and you put it in bags if you haven't opted for their bags, and then you drive out. Last time I was there, I walked in, so I only had some bags of fruit to collect, and the person who bought the fruit out didn't really like that, couldn't compute I wasn't in the car. And just then the woman's like, could you let us know when you're 10 minutes away? And I was like, no. You should have seen the look on her face. It's like I just insulted her entire family and called her all the names under the sun. I'm like, but I'm driving, I'm not going to pull over and then specifically just tell you I'm on my way. And she's like, well, and then, could you just tell us when you're 10 minutes away? And I'm like, no. And she's like, well, I'm driving. I don't live in this town. I'm an hour away. She's like, well, you can click to let us know you're an hour away. And I'm like, but I book a specific slot, and you're not gaining anything. You know I'm going to be here between 8 and 9. So be ready for 8 and 9. She's like, but I don't know, I can get it ready. And I was like, I don't mind waiting. It was more stressful than I'm making it sound. Anyway, I've had it up to here with the power crazy Woolworths staff who have let their responsibility go to their heads and turn them into really quite unpleasant and horrible people. My advice to you is don't do Woolworths click and collect if you're in a bad mood, because it's not going to help you. Anyway, I'm off now to get some photos printed.